Welcome, everybody. I'm Jason with Vox Populi 1788. How are we doing today? Started a little late. I'm sorry. I was a little distracted. I was trying to get some things put together, and I didn't do a good job of it. Um, before I open the lines up to everyone, had a discussion last night on a live stream, and it was about Venezuela. And before I bring people on, I have issues with what we're doing over there. Look, I have no issues actually killing enemies of our state, those that are trying to harm the American people. I have no issues with that. However, I don't see a reason to preemptively strike individuals for crimes they may be committing against the state. And that's kind of what I want to address. What we're doing in Venezuela is gaslighting, in my opinion. This seems like an Iraq 2.0. If you remember, those of you who are old enough, there was once upon a time when the United States government told the American people that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and that was justification for us to invade Iraq following a couple years after 9/11. I was part of that invasion force. I fully supported the invasion, but not for the reasons that the administration gave. The reasons I supported it was because for several decades prior, there was two operations that were going on, one called Operation Northern Watch and the other Operation Southern Watch, where we maintained a no-fly zone over Iraq. And we did this in the name of protection of Kuwait and protection of the Kurds in the north. We denied Iraq their sovereign airspace. And to do that, we used that through military personnel. For several decades, we had American soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines deploying to Saudi Arabia and Turkey, respectively, and Kuwait to enforce this no fly zone. During that time, hundreds of thousands of divorces happened. Several suicides happened because the soldiers lost their families. And I saw it as a means to an end. We invaded Iraq under the premise of weapons of mass destruction, and they did have those weapons. But if you ask the normal person today, they will tell you no, there was no weapons of mass destruction. The reason why they'll say that is because that's what the news told you. There were weapons of mass destruction. There was Marines, and you can look this up yourself, that was actually treated for exposure to mustard gas. Chemical weapons are considered weapons of mass destruction. We found stockpiles of these weapons. The problem was they still said property of the United States Army on them because we sold Iraq in the late 70s and early 80s our surplus of chemical weapons that we were no longer going to use because they violated Geneva Convention. And since Iraq was not a signatory of said convention, it didn't matter if they had them. So we told a half truth. We told the American people that we were invading Iraq because they were a threat to the American people because of their chemical, biological, and nuclear weapons. We knew they didn't have any nuclear weapons, but we did know they had chemical and biological, mostly because we sold it to them. Why is this important today? This is over 20 years later. Well, because I'm seeing the same patterns. Right now, we have shut down the airspace of Venezuela. We are blowing up boats that are carrying drugs, and yes, I do believe they are carrying drugs, mostly to Trinidad and Tobago. Now, that is not a U.S. territory, but we are killing these individuals for the crime of trafficking drugs. I ask you this: is trafficking drugs something that warrants death? Furthermore, who is America to determine that those people should die when we don't know if those drugs are going to head on to our shores? Last night, I suggested if you really want to curtail drug trafficking into America, we do this through border enforcement, and that means even over the waterways. So I would suggest that we track these boats, watch where they deliver to, and follow the shipments. So then we know the supply line that they use, and we can prosecute proper interdiction. How you doing, Jack? Good to see you. So, when you fire a missile or a bullet at a target, you can't take that back. It's a point of no return. We can talk about the legality of the double tap strike. I personally find it utterly legal. Maybe a little unethical, but legal nonetheless. What we're doing in Venezuela is we're gaslighting the American people, in my opinion, in order to overthrow Maduro so we can force Venezuela to send more oil out into the world economy to help prop up the petrodollar. I believe that's what we're doing 100%. And if you disagree with me, feel free to come in and convince me otherwise. I'm open to be convinced. What I want is I want people to understand it's not about, I want to save the drug smugglers. No, I don't give two shits about them. I want our soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines to not have to question if they did the right thing. Because some of the actions that we are doing, if we were not America, we would already be forming a coalition against people doing the things that we're doing today. But we are America. We are the big dick on the block. And it will take a coalition of Western forces to even bother deterring us. China can't do it. Russia can't do it. And even with their powers combined, I still do not believe that they could deter the United States from doing what we're doing. I have no problem with regime change, but I do have a problem with lying to the American people. What proof do I have? None. Pattern recognition and the words of Trump himself. If we're going to invade a place, we should take their resources. What resources does Venezuela have? Well, they have two. They have copious amount of coca, which cocaine is derived from, and they have oil, lots and lots of heavy sweet oil. And it's that heavy sweet oil that we're looking for, because we want to lower the cost of energy and we want to control the world market when it comes to the distribution thereof. That's my thoughts. Let me go ahead and add. How do I invite? Oh, well, I've already put out some invites. Let me go to one of those so I can copy that link. And I will put that link in the chats. And I already have one person waiting. But everyone is invited, just if you come in. Make sure to remain TOS friendly. Because, we don't want to violate terms of service. Plain and simple. Talk about whatever you want to, whatever I want to, whatever we want to. This is Vox Populi, the voice of the people. I'm Jason, your host, and with me tonight is Sadie. How are you doing tonight, Sadie?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Awesome. I've never used this before. This is very efficient and user friendly. I'm like, I like this
Uh, you know, uh,
platform.
it's a little difficult to get used to. It really is. It's not as user friendly as I would like. I think StreamYards is a little bit better in that aspect, but the versatility of this program, I think, is a little bit better, and it's also cheaper. So there, we're
Let me
saving money.
turn
We're
you
being
down.
fiscally conservative. So I don't know if you could hear my little monologue in the background.
I did.
Do you have any opinions on what I said, or?
Well, I was in the stream last night and I told you this afternoon that you did honestly change my opinion about these specific strikes. While you guys were talking, I was looking up where exactly, like geographically, these hits were taken. And, not something that was obviously like a very public part of the story because I haven't really like seen even people put maps out with like red dots. Like this is
Yeah,
where
yeah.
this stuff's happening,
Hey,
you
Sadie, can
know?
you turn down
Mhm.
just a smidge? You're a little hot.
Okay. Yeah. I guess I will do it from like my actual settings. Should work here, right?
I don't know. I don't know how you're set up. So me, I have a little box over here. I just turn a little dial, but
Is that any better?
actually, yeah, yeah, you're not as hot. That's good.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Um, so yeah, these are happening off the coast of Venezuela. Like, yeah, there's no way to know what the destination is. I had a really crazy fight with Grok while you guys were arguing because I asked Grok, like, theoretically, could these boats reach the coast of the United States? And it gave me a definitive yes answer. Like, yes, 100%. Put out the three different boats. We're like, this is how far it can go. And so I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I asked it again in a different chat and it was totally gaslighting me. It's like, "No, absolutely not. There's no way any of these boats are going to be able to make it." So like again, just an AI warning for people, like double check your facts because
Yeah,
that
yeah.
shit was 100% certain that these boats could reach the United States, but everything else I've looked at is like absolutely not. These boats can't reach the United States. So, yeah, I'm definitely sold on this specific operation. I think that the oil tanker seizure is odd. However,
Well, okay. So,
I'm an old boomer, but this is what I want to get to with new.
yeah.
This is new for you. You know, I remember Hugo Chavez, the Bush is the devil's speech,
Hmm.
rewriting the Constitution, packing the court, hyperinflate, nationalizing everything, then hyperinflation. Venezuela's wrecked overnight. Everybody's leaving. And from what I understand about the Venezuelan people, is a lot of them would really like to go back home. It's like nearly impossible. Now we're looking at what we're talking about and comparing it to, and what this reads as is Iraq. But do you think, honestly, you were there, so I'm asking this question. I'm not making an inference either way. Do you think that the people that Saddam Hussein ruled over had like an overall negative majority view of him, or do you think like Venezuela probably wins out in that respect for like not liking their leader?
So you basically had two competing factions, Islamic factions
Right.
within the Iraqi population. You had the Sunnis and the Shia. Now they've been warring for 1,400 years. You're not squashing that beef. The Ba'ath Party, which was the political party that Saddam Hussein ran, was the one that was in power. They were
Right.
a Sunni based political party, but not all Sunnis were Ba'athist. Um, if you were a Ba'ath Party member, you were for the most part com- complicit. You weren't too upset about it. You were happy because you were being treated better than everyone else. But even people within the Ba'ath Party had their complaints about Saddam Hussein as his tyrannical uh, weight that he used. Um, but that's the common denominator there. Okay, tyranny is a way of life. That has been the
Right.
history of the Arabian people throughout history. That's what
Right.
they live. That's their culture.
Right.
And
And that's what I'm
if
saying. It does feel a little different with Venezuela because I do believe, like, again, we had a front row seat to like the hyperinflation, what happened overnight there,
yeah,
you know?
uh, um, the deal about Maduro, I don't care what the people think. Like that's not my problem. My problem is the fact that I feel like our government is lying to us again. This feels like WMD part 2, and it's with the idea, and Donald Trump said it himself, why aren't we taking the resources? Why do we
Right.
invade countries, we overthrow their government, we don't take their resources? Listen to what people say and they'll tell you who they are. I'm not saying this is a bad thing that Trump's doing. I'm saying lying to the American people is.
Right.
We have been fighting the war on drugs since Ronald Reagan pretty much conceived of it. Me and you
Right.
are old enough to remember the old Dare commercials. This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs. Any
It
questions?
didn't work.
No, it didn't. Um, Drugs were fun. Drugs were good to the teenage mind. They're not good, ladies and gentlemen. Just want to break that down to you. I'm not
Because
encouraging drug use.
they did ruin the drugs too.
Yes, and with the advent of fentanyl,
And again, that's another thing that we're talking about that we
yeah,
weren't talking about with the war on drugs, where we know it can be made very inexpensively. It can get here easily. So,
and look, I want to see the end of fentanyl and illegal opiates brought into. What's up, K Shell? How you doing? I don't want to see that stuff coming onto our shores. My problem with what we're doing in Venezuela right now is that we're attacking people that are not a threat to America. Most of these boats are heading to Trinidad and Tobago. That is a UK territory, as far as I know. And the UK isn't doing anything about it, so why should we? It's not our monkeys, it's not our circus. Uh, to the people that want to do this, why are we doing it? That's the question I have. Why are we doing this? Okay, my mic is much lower. Give me a moment.
sorry, I mine are like all locked. I have the browser all the way down and it's locking on my settings, and I don't see anywhere to adjust directly in this
Hey, what type of mic?
browser.
What kind of mic
I
you
have
got?
a HyperX Solo Cast.
Okay. Is that? Do you have a gain on it? On the mic
No,
itself?
I have nothing. Nothing
Oh,
on it itself.
okay.
Yeah, just a mute that doesn't work. It's Chinese. It's stealing all of my information plugged into my
Oh, it's
computer.
one of those.
I'm sure that's the function of it here.
Let's see. Can I? Oh, yeah, yeah. My mic is, and look, I can adjust my mic, and that could make it a little bit clearer.
Yeah, and I
The
can
way
pull
my
mine
mic is
away.
designed, mine is more directional. Um, but I'm concerned that what we are doing is just a lie. We could have been bombing these things for years. I'm saying it's going to be ineffectual because they're not going to use that same route. They're going to bring it through land deals, land routes. And there is I'm not saying it is a battle that we cannot stop. I'm saying we shouldn't stop. We should collect intelligence on it until it gets within the range of our country. And when I say our country, I am saying the Virgin Islands, I'm saying Puerto Rico, I'm saying any territorial U.S. lands. Trinidad and Tobago is not it. American soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines signed up to defend the country, not to overthrow other countries so we can capture their oil. I'm okay if we do capture the oil, but let's not lie to the people. That's really all I want is a little bit of honesty.
So, what do you think about the fact that, we have tried to return these illegal Venezuelans back to Venezuela and they're not taking them?
Do you blame them?
Well, no, not at all.
Okay.
But this was even before there were these,
Well, no. See, I get that,
it's
but
like this is supposed to be why we're doing this. This is
well.
supposed to be the reason.
So Trump is not lying when he says that we have an invasion going on in America. I fully agree with that interpretation. Venezuelan government refusing to take back their people is just confirming that. And with that in mind, you can use that as a casus belli to declare war, but you have to declare war. The United States Congress has ceded its power to the executive. Constitutionally, they are failing.
Yes. Do you
And
think that even if there was a legitimate reason for there to be war, though, the Congress would declare, this current Congress?
no, absolutely
Right.
not.
Right. So, like, we are moving through, and that's why I still stand by. I've told you this too, why I think they changed Department of Defense to Department of War And I think
Yeah,
it's about paperwork. I think it's about covering things up and moving on from things and new ways of doing business.
I
Because I
believe that
was
there's going to be
thinking
new
about this stuff
ways.
with your operating guidelines and
Mhm.
stuff like that. It doesn't necessarily mean that like everything has stayed the same when they shifted over. Was this the entire plan to like revamp the military from the paperwork on the inside out, dude? Like,
Well,
is this part of rules of engagement and is this now standard operating procedure? Is like guessing is enough. Fuck it.
I do not know the exact ROE of that area. Okay, I don't work with that command. I work on more of the logistical side, supplies, parts for aircraft. What I can see, what I do know, is that I know what type of airframes they have down there based on their parts requirements and things like that. I I'm not going to pretend like I know all the intelligence they have collected on these boats
Well,
for their
no, and I'm not
targeted
gonna hold you
munitions.
to that either, but unlike some people that you were speaking with last night, like the career that you spent in the military, I
Yeah,
do think like has weight and I
yeah,
do
yeah,
think
yeah,
it's worth
yeah. Like,
considering.
and for those of you that weren't privy to that stream last night, I was talking to some individuals. Hi, Pentuple, how you doing? And I was basically saying, look, you have two military veterans who are speaking on their experience in combat doing this kind of work, and all you're coming at me with I think. Well, I didn't get paid to think, I got paid to do. I got paid to know, and I still get paid to know. So you're not getting paid to think. You don't know what you're thinking of, and there's nothing wrong with that. You could be wrong.
And Sadie's already mogging you with good questions.
Yes, I
I've
like that.
already asked more good questions than you did in the entire stream last night.
Yes, and one individual got mad at me because I mentioned I know some things that are classified about this stuff, and I'm not going to mention it. I can't talk about it. And this arrogant jackass thought that I should, like, he's privy. Well, you should tell me why. I have nothing to prove to you, buddy. You're nobody. You're less than nobody. And even if you were somebody, you don't have the right to know.
Yeah, I'd rather not see anybody like court-martialed
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
a Twitch
I
stream.
don't want to go. I don't want to go to jail for fucking clout. Okay.
I do think that it's probably well, I mean, again, you and I have talked about this before,
Yeah.
about
No, bro, I'm
the
not mad. But if you'd like to come on, you have the link.
yeah, come on, Pen. What are you doing? We've talked about the fact that like you do feel like a large part of your military career, like the goal, the mission was natural resources. At the end of
Well,
the day, if you cut it all down to the very end, and
well,
after 9/11 and a
my
huge
argument.
lithium ion vein, I got an iPhone in a small
Yeah,
drill
my
for my little
argument.
baby girl hand.
My argument was it wasn't about natural resources. At the end of the day, I argue that we were a mercenary group for foreign countries. We were
Sure, but I
actually
think you said specifically once to me that the goal of the US military was to strip foreign lands of their natural resources
yes,
before we touch ours.
yes, that is part of the U.S. foreign policy.
Yeah.
Um,
So, again,
yeah,
yes, I agree. That's probably what's going on behind Venezuela.
and
All of
I'm
that
okay
being
with
said,
that
I
if
do
we
think
build a
that
wall
there's
back.
humanitarian bullshit that we can layer on top of it to make it and to benefit people that are currently in this country. They've got like 22 million people in the entire country and a million of them are here. That's
Yeah,
a large
it,
percentage
it,
of
it
their
is.
population.
It absolutely is. Now, I have a problem with us having a million Venezuelans here.
Me too.
Um,
That's the problem that is going to affect me when it comes down to it. Are these
yes.
people that shouldn't be here?
Look,
And
I don't want the booty scratchers from Africa coming here asking for asylum. In fact, I think America should refuse all asylum requests from any country that is not neighboring. So if you're not from Canada, Cuba, Haiti, Mexico, you know what? I'll even be generous. Jamaica, you're SOL. You're shit out of luck. Okay, because if you're not neighboring us, we don't have to accept you.
Am I totally schizo or am I right? For a good amount of my like 20s, my adult life, the only place that we would take asylum seekers from was Cuba.
Um, well, so we wouldn't openly accept them, but we would begrudgingly accept them as they came over on the bathtubs on the raft
Right,
people.
right, right. But they were the only ones. I don't remember anybody else having legitimate asylum claims.
Well, we didn't have a mass asylum request going on at that time. Where it was all coming from was Castro's Cuba. And look, the Cuban people that have come to America,
Right.
based.
Based.
They're amazing. They hate communists, and they were actually fleeing persecution. You get Juan Hidalgo from whatever the fuck South America coming. They're coming for B dubs.
Right.
They're coming for PlayStation.
Right. Nikes.
That's not asylum.
Right.
Get fucked. Get all kinds of fucked. Asylum is for people that are actually oppressed, and we should have a third party, a third country policy where if you're not from a neighboring country, we won't even consider your asylum request because we're not a choose your own adventure asylum place.
Yeah, well, we're granting it to Venezuelans specifically because they don't allow gay marriage.
That should not be a reason for asylum. I
Seen
don't
plenty
care,
of interviews, dude. Well, I
but I
came here
don't.
because I'm gay and I can't
Yeah,
get married there and I'm oppressed. Okay. They let them over.
it is
It's
a
an
third
abuse of our
country
own
policy,
system.
quintuple. We have third country policy agreements with countries like Canada and Mexico that they do not honor. We have to enforce those. And it should be America's absolute right to deny asylum requests from any non-neighboring country. Why should we accept asylum requests from South Africa? What do we have in common with South Africa? Not a damn thing.
I mean, really though? Really? Some of South Africa? Because
And
some
look,
of South Africa came over, dude, some of South
judging
Africa
by
came over
Africa,
here and
yeah,
worked in this country and helped us build this country for 35 years. And then some of South Africa, just some, got
yeah,
deported back under Obama right before all this shit started over
yeah.
there.
But I just look at it like this: if you are seeking asylum, the first country that accepts you is where you go.
Right.
We should not be forced to accept anyone not from this hemisphere. First of all, secondly, if you're trying to get asylum from Venezuela, you have to go through Colombia, you have to go through Panama, Ecuador. You got to go through all these countries before you get to America. Stop there. Wherever the threat ends, that's where you stop.
Right.
Mexico is fine when you're away from the cartels. Okay? Honduras is not bad. These countries that we will call shitholes by our own standards, by a South American standard, is still better than the shithole they're coming from. We're supposed to be the shining beacon on the hill. Cool.
Right.
However, you're not all welcome. I don't care about your skin color. I don't care about what language you speak. What I do care is you want to use my country and my resources for your poor management of your own country. We fought for our independence. How about you do a little bit for yourself? Nothing is given, everything is taken, and we don't owe you shit. What we do owe is the American people something. We have a crumbling infrastructure. We need to build up our manufacturing base a little bit because COVID showed us that even when we have paid for the products ahead of time, China at any time could say, no, we're not delivering that and keep it for themselves. Now we know today those masks that they withheld from us wouldn't have done a whole hell of a lot. But at the time, if you remember, we thought those masks were pretty fucking important. And so did the Chinese. But we paid for them. And the Chinese kept them. When we go to a kinetic war with China, who's going to manufacture our shit if we're not doing it ourselves?
You do got to admit, Trump got those masks manufactured domestically pretty quick for America.
Yeah, he did, but the deal is, we went a month and a half
Right.
without those roughly needed masks as we knew at that time. In hindsight, we didn't need them like we thought.
I don't necessarily believe that. I do believe that there was a really bad virus that was released. Some of the people that like I was around that got sick in December and January 2019 to 2020, they were the sickest I've ever seen in my entire life. Some of
Yeah.
them were still coughing 8 months later, really debilitated people, but that's how a virus works.
Well,
Once
I
it's
lost a
passed,
friend to that round,
right.
and his
But
wife, she's still suffering from it today.
as it's spread around, it loses its efficacy. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of the really harsh stuff died with the hosts. That's how it works, you know? So I do believe that at the beginning, it was important. And then probably for about the first 45 days. And then my state, we went back to work, dude. My stores opened up. Everybody was in town. Like everything went back to normal here.
Yeah, we so here in Oklahoma, we shut down some things, other things stayed open. My hat's off to the grocery community. I mean, believe it or not, without your local grocer, a lot of bad shit would have happened during that time. They
Hmm.
stayed open. Your utilities kept running. Your police department kept running. Your corner stores. What will we do without fuel? Okay, the logistics behind all that. A lot of things remained open the whole time. But my biggest gripe is our companies paid money for a product that was supposed to have been delivered, and China determined that it was more necessary for their own country. They said contracts be damned, and they withheld those commodities from us, which we already paid for. Now what happens? Let's fast forward 10 years. Sadie, in 10 years, we will be at war with China.
I agree with you.
I firmly believe this.
I've been saying for years we are already knee deep into World War III, and it's been going on for a while. And it's information war right now. It's
But
under the
who's going to
first
build our
layer,
shit? That's what
right?
I'm asking.
Well, that's what Howard Lutnick is asking. That's what Sachs is asking. That's what Bassett is asking, and that's why Trump just said this is why we need the H-1Bs. You know,
Yeah,
which I don't know if that's the answer either.
I'm really curious. If we don't start our own manufacturing base, who will build our shit? Because ultimately, that's our problem. We are a consumer economy.
Right.
Okay, we are a services economy. Look, we got people who think they need to get paid $15 to flip a fucking burger. Well, I'm owed this. No, you're not, pal. I could do that shit when I was 12. Oh, look at the puppers.
This is Sadie.
Sadie and Sadie girl. Let's go.
Sadie and Sadie girl. I think she might
It's
have to go outside. Let me go take them outside. I'll be right back.
yeah. I find all this to be interesting. For those of you who support what we're doing in Venezuela, you are entitled to your opinion. I have no issues with that. But give me a reason why. Just tell me one reason why. And you can tell me in chat, you can come on and tell me. But give me a reason why we should actually be doing this the way we're doing it. If you say that we should free the resources of Venezuela, like their oil, to the world economy to help prop up the petrodollar, cool. At least that's a reason, and it's one that I can understand. But tell me how dropping bombs on a speedboat 32 miles off the shore of Venezuela is protecting America. I'm open to being convinced that that's what's going on. But right now, with what I'm seeing, what evidence I see, I don't know if that's actually the actual truth of it, right? And that's all I want. This stuff bothers me. You don't get to take that bullet back. You don't get to take that missile back. You fire, it hits. There's nothing wrong with killing someone righteously. And there are there's three reasons in order that where killing is considered proper and righteous. One is in self-defense, two is in defense of others, and three is war. There are your three reasons. That is when killing is completely justified. And under Western values, we have determined that even in war, we still want to limit the suffering of other people. So we are discriminate with whom we attack. So we don't just go wildly killing people randomly. We kill with a purpose. So, like I said, three reasons: self-defense, defense of others, and war. That's biblical. If you can think of another reason to justifiably kill people, feel free to let me know. Oh, sorry. Execution by the state when a crime has been committed that is so heinous that there is no other way to basically receive forgiveness. If you can think of another reason to kill, that's completely justified. Defense of yourself or others. The person's committed such a horrible crime that there's nothing else that can be done, or warfare. And we're not killing drug smugglers for warfare. If you want to claim it's defense of others because the drugs may make it to American shores, because you damn sure can't tell me it does.
My husband offered a reason
Cool.
yesterday that
What's
I
that?
thought it's not one that justifies killing for the record.
Okay.
But he's saying he thinks they're doing it for the boomers. Like, good, my tax dollars are going to blowing narco terrorists out of the water. That tickles my 9/11 thing. I'm happy with the administration protecting my country. I can watch the clips on Fox News. It's exciting. Pete Hegseth was a guy I watched on Fox News. My husband says this is 100% for the boomers.
I mean, I can see the argument.
And
What
how
was
many
the
of that
argument?
demographic have lost people to fentanyl overdoses and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, if you look here in the Midwest where I live, you look up in especially the Appalachians. I mean, my goodness,
Mhm.
the amount of people that have died to fentanyl is disgusting. I'm not saying fentanyl's not a problem. I'm just saying we shouldn't be projecting our military that far from our shores in the name of defending the people from drugs that may make it to our shores. Let them get to where they will come to our shores and then blow them out of the water. Sure.
Well, this does kind of open up the question of what's the rest of the route, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I would think that you you would want to know what the rest of the route is so you can trace everyone, you can track everyone. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we got him finally, Sadie. All the way
Now
from
it's
MAGA
time to fight.
HQ.
Let's go.
Pin
Look
Pump,
at
how you
him.
doing, sir?
Look at this guy.
Good.
Look at
It's
this
good.
scrub.
I'm a pyromaniac. I'm happy to have a pyrotech. I've been burning bridges down all week.
Look, man, I don't get into the drama. Everyone's a fucking retard at the end of the day. Um, it is what it is.
Everyone
Um,
except for me and you and Sadie. Everyone.
I'm kind of retarded, bro.
Why are you so quiet? Was this my settings?
It.
You
I
are
mean,
loud. I think it might be.
But your Sadie's loud too. Sparky's are really quiet.
See, I don't know. So I'm turned up. I mean, I'm doing everything short of clipping.
Well, that's all right. Fuck it.
So it's
I know, I
actually,
just moved the microphone away.
yeah. So this type of mic, like, you could probably hear me a lot better now. I turned it up a little bit, and I'm talking more into it. But this type of mic is a little difficult positioning. Is everything. I am quiet. Okay. Let me see what I could do. That's maxed out.
Yeah, I can hear it pegging too. It's just
Yeah.
like overall volume's low.
Yeah.
Maybe coming through browser. If
It's
you have
not
that open, I don't
turned
know if you have
up.
an app open.
I've got that turned up. So
We'll just move away. I'm talking quiet, and it actually feels nice. My throat was a little sore after last night. There was a lot of yelling.
there was a lot of yelling. Oh my god. It is. It was insane. And I, dude, the riddle guy, the the sheer audacity of that one.
What do
He
you
was
mean?
interesting. The
I'm
guy
just
was
kidding. I know what you mean.
the guy was like, "Hey, dude, you got to tell me classified shit." I'm like, "No, no, I don't. I absolutely don't.
It would be cool if you did.
No, it would be a felony if I did."
Oh, it would be cool for me to have like that info. It'd be cool.
Uh, How about you get a job where you have the need to know?
No, that's why it's cool because like totally shouldn't know, and you tell me anyway.
No, no. See, that's why I am a. That is why I am someone with a security clearance.
Yeah, I would tell everyone everything. I'd be like, guys, you genuinely wouldn't believe what I did at work today.
It's, I'll make jokes. Hey, I spent $1 million today in 15 minutes. Ha 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 ha. I'll do stuff like that, but not gonna. No, I'll never betray my oath and give up any information that is any way classified. It's just no.
Ryan's Fed coded for even wanting this.
You know,
I am a Fed now. That's true. I'm working with CJ. He spent 20 years doing intelligence for the military.
and CJ
Obviously, I'm being handled even harder than I was before. Sadie's a Fed.
Yes. And
I leveled him up.
I like CJ, but I think he's a little bit of a
CJ's the
CJ's
man.
legit.
he's a little bit of a nutter, but I still like him.
He's got intense aura. It's crazy.
Well,
Everywhere we go, people are like, "You're that guy." He's like, "Yeah, I'm that guy."
Well, so I think people that are like sovereign.
You are so quiet. It can't just be me, right?
I don't.
You are. It's
know
literally
how
like I'm
people
listening to
know.
you. Even when you do that, there's got to be
Yeah.
something on your settings. Because Sadie is loud and I can hear her.
It does seem like you got quieter since he joined.
Does that make it any louder? Right there.
Not really.
Okay, hold on.
I got quieter. It was already quiet. It got quieter.
Check. Let me.
It's still quiet. I don't know what it is. Now you're muted, I think. But I don't know. You're maxed out volume on my end.
Check.
And
Check.
still quiet. Can
So
chat
I
hear?
can
I don't
hear
even
my-
know if chat can hear you.
I can hear myself just fine. Of course, I also run. Hold on. Does that help any?
That was helping, but it's still
Does it
quiet.
help? Well, yeah.
It's-
It's going to be a little quiet. I may have to switch over mics. Damn it! I love this mic too. Or I need.
No, that's a good mic. It's just
I
that's
need
the
to get a
loudest
new
it
cloud
gets.
lifter. Well, I need to get a new cloud lifter, is what it is. So I had a cloud lifter and it burned out on me. So I need to get a new.
It just
one.
sounds like you're so far away. Like I'm straining to hear you.
You're straining.
Like I'm, like trying to hear you.
Did you hear me? Did you hear me fine last night in Discord?
It was definitely better than this. I didn't notice it this bad.
Yeah, this program, I've got to tweak. I've got to tweak the whole audio thing. I'm still learning it.
There is an auto adjust mic volume toggle that was on for me, and then I turned it off, and now there is actually a bar that you can adjust here too. on your mic.
Yeah, does this make me louder when I do it like that? Does that make me super loud?
Let's see.
I don't know.
I turned mine down a tiny bit.
Yeah, I don't even see the auto adjuster.
Really? It's like this caret next to the mute button. You push up on it.
Hold on.
There's an echo cancellation, which might be doing it too.
Hold on. Maybe that helps. Does that help any?
Not really.
Okay, what if I turn that off?
No, you're just in my left ear.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Which did make
audio,
it slightly louder.
Yeah, the stereo audio thing is something that, God, it's. Does that change it? Whoa, that's a lot.
That's better. That's better.
There you are.
Wrong setting. Let me turn that down just a little.
That's so much better.
Still learning this program. So it gave me 3 different mic settings.
It's like your internet shit, but you are louder.
Yeah, I don't have well, I can still turn that up. Still a lot more. That looks like it. Yeah, that's doing a lot better on the levels. Sorry about that. Ooh. But yeah. So last night, Pentuple, you were kind of you're pro bombing speedboats off the coast of Venezuela.
Yes, I'm okay with it.
What threat does it pose to America?
What? They're bringing drugs, right?
Well, they're delivering drugs to where?
The threat of overdose.
Okay, but where are they delivering them to?
Somewhere in America, presumably.
We don't
How?
really know that though, dude. I was
By
looking at where
going
these
up to the
things were
shore of
happening
America
last night.
from
They
the
weren't.
boat?
They were right at the shore of Venezuela. We weren't even letting them. You could still see Venezuela where we're bombing them
So,
for sure. So what do you? So how do you know where it's going, dude? And really, like the
but
bigger
well,
question
that
is-
doesn't really
Well, hold
matter.
on.
Like, we accidentally
But the
doing a
bigger-
favor for
but the
someone
bigger-
else.
The bigger question is like, how does it get here? Wouldn't you want to like follow these boats and figure out how it is?
Yeah, I'd be
getting
interested,
here?
but I'm not like desperately trying to find out how to prove this administration is evil and stuff. So like, whatever.
Well, I'm not saying the administration is evil. See, I'm not.
Well,
even
like that
making
would
a
be
claim.
evil if we were just bombing fishing boats, right?
But I'm not. But I'm saying they're not. I'm not saying they're bombing. Oh,
Well,
Stadia's telling you
okay,
to turn up a bit now.
I want to on the point that you said, how do we know they're coming here and not going to like one of the island countries or something like that? If someone is coming to rob someone in my neighborhood and I, stop them because I think they're coming to my house, but they were actually going to rob my neighbor, like that's okay. Like I'm willing to stop robberies from happening in the neighborhood. That isn't like
fair.
a whole
It's not
loss.
happening in the neighborhood. It's
But-
happening at my house from where you are.
If you shoot them, you go to
Yeah,
jail.
but we're tight, dude. We're tight. I'm cool with you. I don't want you to get.
But if
all
you
these
shoot
drugs in your borders either.
the supposed robber, though, you're going to go to jail. Ahmaud Arbery, if that rings a bell.
Well, it depends, I guess.
I'm just saying.
I just think if you're trafficking drugs and that is coming up to the U.S., like, yeah, I'm
See,
cool with
but
this.
hold on. If you're trafficking drugs and what was that second part?
It's coming to the U.S.
If it's coming to the U.S., we don't even know
Yeah.
what's going there.
Yeah, how do you?
Well, I
know?
think we probably have an idea.
We-
That's a high claim to say that we don't know anything about it. other
Well,
than that
I'm not
there
saying
are
we
drugs
don't
there.
know. I'm not saying we don't know anything. What I am saying is we do not know if those exact drugs are heading to the U.S.
Well, we don't. You and me don't. But I
Our
do
intelligence
presume.
don't either, I assume.
Well, somebody does. Somebody on the planet knows. It's probably not just the people that are on the boat.
Well, I'm pretty sure the people on the boat actually don't know the final destination of those drugs. I'm pretty sure there's someone.
Well, sure.
up-
Oh, well,
up
then
the
they're
chain of
just.
command.
This is just all happening automatically. There's no.
No, they're
nobody-
told to deliver to one place, and then
Right, but we
the
can
people
probably
it's delivered
figure
to
out.
is moved to another boat,
Right.
and it's done. It's
If
I
we're
assure you-
intercepting communications or something, and we know who's buying them, can we presume that they're being trafficked to the buyer?
Well, I mean, you
So let's say
can.
we have evidence. We could have evidence that the person who paid and bought for these drugs to be shipped is in the U.S.
Okay, but do we
And
know
that
that?
might be how we even know that this is all happening in the first place. Because like
So I
I
would
don't think we
argue.
should go interfere with drug transactions in random countries.
So I would argue that we do the interdiction closer to our shores. That's my only gripe.
Why do we? What's the interdiction? What's the point of this?
The interdiction is when you either seize the boat and the people on it, or you blow it up.
Right.
Okay.
Well, okay.
What we are doing is interdiction. Okay. That's
okay.
what's happened.
So that's fine. So,
So
yeah, support the interdiction wherever. It
if
doesn't
we,
matter.
well, see, the military is there to support and defend the Constitution and Americans.
Right.
We're not there to. We don't exist to project what we think is going to happen. Yes, it's a good chance some of those drugs could go to American shores, but until they are a threat, a direct threat to America, we should not engage. And that's my gripe. And what I would rather do, as I suggested during my little monologue section, that this is a red herring. We are using this to disguise the fact that we want to overthrow Maduro so we can increase the flow of resources into the world oil market, lower prices. Trump said it himself. If we're going to invade, we're going to take their resources. I'm actually for that. I'm okay with that. But if we're going to lie to the American people and tell that we're going to risk soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines' lives to stop drug trafficking, that rings a bit hollow to me.
Oh, wait, where's the lie? And just because you and I haven't seen the intelligence behind these decisions doesn't mean it doesn't exist. And I think it is kind of a high bar to suggest that it doesn't exist.
So I would argue
Also,
that there
Johnny
is.
Balls.
I would argue that there is intelligence. I'm saying that from my experience, from my background, from what I've seen, it is incomplete at this moment. It is not enough to put a convincing argument stating, yes, we know these drugs specifically are heading to American shores. I don't believe they have that proof. I believe they have that suspicion, and I believe they have the knowledge that those are in fact drugs. And that alone is not justification to launch these attacks. So if you're going to invade a foreign country, if you're going to violate the sovereignty of another country, you either do it legitimately. Hey, they're sending people. It is an invasion. I'm declaring an invasion, and I demand Congress declare war under this casus belli, and we do the damn thing, or we don't do it at all. Okay, there's a process that must be followed, and we have not followed it since World War II.
You're saying it's impossible that we're following this? Because like I understand the suspicion and concern around
There
following
is
it,
no,
but that's
so there is no
like
AUMF.
it's like a conclusion to you that we're not following intelligence.
No, I'm saying we're not following the process to use our military in illegal and constitutional means. There is no AUMF to cover this. Number one, listing Tren de Aragua as an international terrorist body does open the door for some kinetic actions with use of the military. However, it does not open what we are doing currently. There is no UMAF or UAMF. Yeah. Anyway, that allows
the legal stuff is complicated. I haven't researched any of it or anything like that. But when you're nitpicking these like small rules, like why are we in the area? Why are we even like in a position to be doing these things if these are off the table?
Do you believe in sovereignty?
Huh?
Do you believe in sovereignty?
No, I do. I'm just saying on the principle. Like we can get into the legal stuff. But like the principle of what do we do when a boat of drugs is being trafficked to our country? That's really the discussion. Because once you start saying, "Oh, what if it's not a boat with drugs?" It's like, well, obviously that's different.
I'm not even posing that. I'm not even questioning that. What I'm saying is, legally, in order for the military to engage in combat, certain things have to exist.
Sure.
Okay. Those do not exist. As far as we can tell, Congress has passed nothing. There has been no war declared. And what happens? So here's my concern. Okay. Right now, Senator Mark Kelly, I think that's his name.
The
Yeah.
bald one with the thought
Yeah,
daughter.
yeah. So he is being threatened with being returned to active duty in order to be prosecuted for violating the UCMJ, something he did do. In fact, while he was a captain in the United States Navy, had anyone under his command said anything close to what he did, he would have brought him up to captain's mast and he would have court-martialed him immediately. He is using his seat as a senator as protection. Now, I will tell you, Pete Hegseth will not call him to active duty. He will not get court-martialed because at the end of the day, Trump is a Republican and they are spineless. And Pete Hegseth talks big bluster but doesn't walk tall.
I like
He's
him.
blowing people out of the water.
Yeah, he's
Yeah, pretty
he's
cool.
blowing non-Americans out of the water.
And
But when it comes down
we
to
can talk
doing
about
something that will give him political blowback, he's not
We
going to
can-
do it. That's
can
what
talk
I'm
about the-
saying.
I mean, this
We
is
could talk
pretty
about the
big
legal
political
nuance and
blowback,
stuff.
though, is it not?
No, not like calling a sitting senator back into active duty in order to prosecute him for calling dissension in the ranks.
I don't know. I think it might happen, dude. I think you're
I-
writing him off a little bit too early.
I
We're gonna
don't
have to wait and
believe-
see on that one.
Yeah, I don't believe it's going to happen. And look, this is my normalcy bias. I'll admit this. And what Hegseth and Trump is doing is a bit out of the norm. But I still don't believe that they are going to call Senator Kelly back into uniform so they can prosecute him for causing dissension in the ranks, violating his oath of office.
The military is the only way, Pentuple.
So real.
Look, under the UCMJ, he has every right to do it. I just don't see him doing it. I don't see Hegseth actually doing it. They'll threaten it. They won't actually do it.
That's
Well,
I mean that's all fine. And like
Well,
I said, we
let's
can
not even talk about the narco terrorist boats. Let's talk about the oil tanker. Will you? I'm sure you understand it a little bit more than I do. Can you explain
okay.
what happened here?
So the oil tanker is a sanctioned item. Okay. It has been on record as violating sanctions that have already been imposed. So legally it can be confiscated.
And
So
we did. We seized it.
we seized it.
Yesterday.
Now this is a casus belli by Venezuela. Venezuela can actually legally declare a war, and the international courts won't do anything about it because it's a legit act of war that we seized their tanker. Now, we did have sanctions against it, so we were also legal in seizing it. But yet, we've already done multiple acts of war against Venezuela. We've told them to shut down their airspace. We've told them to, any boats that seem to be trafficking drugs, we're gonna destroy them. We've been doing that. Those are acts of war. We're killing Venezuelan citizens using our military, and now we seized a tanker. These are all acts of war. Venezuela can declare war without any repercussions. In fact, the world would probably get behind them to a point if we weren't America. And I'm not scared of war. But if we're going to go to war, I want Congress to actually do their job. And here's why, Pentuple. Because when Republicans lose, and eventually it will happen, I'm not saying in 2026, I'm not saying in 2028. But whenever Democrats get back into power, those sailors that are shooting those boats out of the water that they're currently calling a war crime, they're going to prosecute them on it.
Looks like we'll have to give out a bunch of preemptive, complete, and full pardons at the end of the term. No, that's funny though. That's actually a precedent that's actually been set.
Yes,
But no,
yes.
and I don't disagree with you in principle. I don't know all of the legal nuance. It's certainly not the type of law you'd study in law school anyway. So I don't even know that most attorneys would know any of this unless
Well,
they've
I don't
been
expect
in that
you-
area.
So I don't expect you to understand it all. And I don't understand it all. I'm not going to pretend like I do.
Well, there's
But what
also just a lot of nuance in like gray areas where like it's debatable whether something's legal or not. This is just common in
yeah.
constitutional law, and I assume it'll expand very much the same way in the military law. But ultimately, when we're talking about the principle, like if you're the president and there's a speedboat coming full of fentanyl to your borders, and
Mhm.
we can change the facts, and that's interesting and stuff. And like, yeah, if there's not a drug boat, I don't want to explode it, of course. But like, given that fact pattern, my thought isn't like, oh, like let me go comb through the books for this. I'm thinking, okay, good. Those drugs don't make it to our shores. That's the ultimate end that I'm interested in as
Okay.
an American. Whether there's other ways to do it, you can come to me and say, look, we don't have to explode the boat. But we can do other things that guarantee that these drugs won't reach our borders. And it's like, yeah,
Well,
that's fine. The goal is
yeah.
not to take glee in blowing up a boat or killing the people on the boat. The goal is saying we are not letting these drugs into our shores, and we will do even this if it's necessary to prevent it from happening. And that's the position that I hold. It doesn't even. I don't even care about like the
Okay.
legal
So
nuance.
I just decided to look at the distance from Venezuelan shores to Florida via water.
Yeah.
1,150 miles. Those boats can't travel that.
Yeah, but that's whether the boats can make it.
Well,
Those drugs are still
so but
going in that direction and being like
not
trafficked there.
necessarily. Not necessarily. In fact, the one that was supposedly double tapped, and I have no issue with that happening, by the way. The one that was double tapped was heading south when it was attacked.
Okay.
The complete opposite direction of where America exists.
Right, but this is why I'm saying I don't understand why it matters if it's a
Because
given that these are drug boats trafficking drugs that make it into America. You can shoot
see,
the boat on the
that's the
way out
problem.
after they make a delivery to the
But
US,
they
and I'm
weren't.
fine
They
with that.
didn't make a delivery.
Well,
Okay,
I
they
don't
were
know
in the
what they did.
process. They were in the process of delivering drugs to an
Right, but that's what I'm
area
saying. If
that
that's the
wasn't
given,
America. That wasn't
You
America.
do keep adding this too, as it's like a definite 100%. Well, they're on their way to America, onto America, onto America. And
well,
so
that's
far,
just
there
what I'm
hasn't,
saying
but
until
there
you
hasn't been
prove.
any. There
No,
hasn't been
see,
any evidence presented in that way, and we
you
do, as the American people, through these several acts of war that are having, do have a right to know why we're in this conflict and who we're declaring war on. So there should be more information released to the public at this point of how specifically these drugs were ending up in the U.S. at this point. We've blown up 21 of them. I'd like a better explanation of how the shit's getting here.
yeah,
I'll disagree with that.
and the closest U.S. territory to Venezuela would be Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands, approximately 525 to 550 miles away via water. Those watercraft cannot travel that distance. You could
Yeah, but
fill
that
them,
doesn't
but
matter to me. They're trafficking the drugs, right? They're part of the process in trafficking the drugs, right?
yes, they are part of the process of trafficking the drugs, but we don't know if those drugs are going to America. That's the distinction that I hold.
How do you know that? We don't know that. This is what I'm saying. I'm not like I need to be convinced of this. If it's a given, if the reality is that they are, then I'm fine with this. You have to show me like they're definitely not.
Because no, I don't have to show they're definitely not. I have to
Or that the
bring
government
doubt.
doesn't know that they definitely are.
I have to just bring doubt. Reasonable doubt.
Well, this isn't a
Well,
hang
no. I think the standard should be reasonable doubt. It's either they are doing it or there's a reasonable doubt. I think that's a good standard.
Well, I would think
If you're going to
the standard
engage-
needs to be near certainty that these boats have drugs and are trafficking in the U.S. before we're exploding them.
I say 100% that they are carrying drugs. However, I cannot say with the same amount of certainty that those drugs are destined for American shores. They could be going to British soil. They could be going to Colombia. They could be going to Argentina for all I know. But if we have reasonable doubt of the final destination of those drugs and it's not America's stand, then why are we engaging?
Sure, but if a portion of them are, if this is a
Okay, well,
operation that's
now
trafficking half the
consider
drugs to Argentina and half the drugs to the U.S.,
okay,
they're trafficking to both.
consider this, please. Okay, who is
Okay.
America's actually closest ally?
Of course, the
No,
UK.
Yeah, the UK.
Japan.
Now, the UK has stopped sharing all intelligence with us in this region because they feel that what we are doing is unlawful.
Have we stopped sharing our intel with them from the region? That'd be
No,
funny.
we
I
have
wonder if
not.
they need that more than us.
We have
What
not.
do we need the UK intel for?
Because they have property there. Like they
Yeah.
have
Yeah, but
territory there.
yeah.
Who do you
Yeah,
who do
yeah.
you think collects the intel on the British soil and stuff?
I just feel like if this was a big deal, Trump would have been a fucking pissed because Canada tried to shut off like the lights in a neighborhood once, and that didn't go well.
Well,
I feel like if this was meaningful, this would be
so
a.
what Trump is going to do on the public, there's a public face and a private face. So I would argue publicly Trump is going, these are drug boats. They're all coming to America. We're trying to defend Americans from being poisoned.
Yes.
Kill them. Now, that's what he's telling the American people. And then he turns around and he says, hey, Pete, by the way, we want that fucking oil. That's all we care about. If junkies overdose, that's their fucking problem. I guarantee you that's how Trump thinks. Trump hates drugs. Trump doesn't drink. He is straight edge as a mug. He doesn't do none of that shit. In fact,
Right.
I would hazard to guess, because of his how straight edge he is, that he blames most overdoses on the people who are victims of it.
Well, obviously, yeah. for sure.
Okay. So I assure you, he is not doing this to save Americans. He's doing it. And look, cool. Call it for what it is. Let's not do a George W. Bush part 2. Let's not scream MWDs and overthrow a country for another reason. That's all I'm saying. Call it for what it is. We need that oil out in the world's economy. They're fucking up the petrodollar, and I'm sick and tired of Maduro sending his invaders to my country. He's already said half of it.
Right.
Okay? Say it full-throated now. Okay? Hey, this is why I want to declare war. Tren de Aragua is sending drugs and their militants into our country. We saw what happened in Colorado. We saw what has been happening in Texas with them. I am declaring this an invading force. Congress, I want war declared. And then Congress has to go and do their fucking job. Now, they can argue that they want to declare war. But if Trump does that, constitutionally, he has 90 days to schwack them motherfuckers. Why Congress sits there and twiddles her thumb. But I think that would be a more legitimate thing than lying to the American public and pretending it's about drugs. And that's what I think it is. I think it's pretending.
Well, it can be about both, right? Like they can have like a more grand operation going on that also includes like.
What is the driving factor? Do you really
I'm
think
just
the drugs
saying-
are the driving factor? I don't.
No, they don't have to be the driving factor though, because when you sink those drug boats, you are sinking those drugs. Those drugs are not.
Yes.
That's a tangible difference. That's a tangible
it
effect.
is.
Whoever was going to overdose on those drugs is that's
So how much drugs from Venezuela shows up on American shores? Do you know that? I
it
don't.
literally doesn't matter at all.
I don't. I know the
No,
majority
it
of the
literally
drugs-
doesn't matter at all. That could be the only boat that ever came from Venezuela.
Oh, okay. So why aren't we bombing Mexico, where the vast majority of our drugs come through?
No, we probably at some point could get there.
Well, I would find it more legitimate to be attacking the cartels in Mexico than it is to attack the cartels in Venezuela, just because of distance and the
Well, right,
amount
but
of
this is why
drugs
I
that
think
come through.
when we're talking about like, oh, where are they headed? How do we know where they're headed? That's a lot easier, I think, on the water. I think we can probably tell a lot easier when they're on the
Well,
water where they're
so-
going than when they're going within land and going city to city.
We
and
actually
trafficking that way.
we actually can more easier track that. Yes, you are not incorrect. You're very correct there. I'm
So I
just
win. It's
arguing.
over? The debate's
No,
over?
it's not.
Just kidding.
I'm arguing where we engage with these boats at is more meaningful. If we engage them closer to U.S. territorial waters, that would make more sense, because then we can actually say now we know we're defending Americans.
Right, but you're saying that like the only way we can know this is proximity.
Yes.
What I'm saying is what matters is whether we know it or not. If we know they're coming and they're not close, I don't know why we would wait. Why do we have to wait for them to
If
get
they're
close?
sending the drugs, to Malia in Africa, why is the U.S.
No.
doing
Say
that?
we know we have we literally have been observing the communications between the buyer and the seller. We know where this drug boat's headed. Why would we have to wait until we can tell like on the map that they're going there when we have other evidence? That's what I'm saying. As long as we know that they're going there, the thing I'm taking issue with is that you're acting like proximity is the only way we could know where they are.
I'm saying the proximity is the only thing that legitimizes what we're doing.
Or release the evidence, which they're not going to do.
So
right, but that's like to convince me.
No.
Yes, we're paying for it. Yes, to convince us. Yes, we're paying for this. Yes, we should know.
Right, but this invalidates any argument to have like anything classified. Why would anything be classified?
They've killed 21 of them. Like none of them we can know for sure how they knew that the drugs were going to get here.
Well, I don't know what their methods are.
They keep doing it, but they can't tell us anything about how they know for sure this shit's getting here.
Well, I don't know what the methods are. What if hypothetically whatever method they're using would no longer be available if they told us about it? That's the like logic behind this, isn't it? Like I'm not saying this is a legitimate use of that logic, but that is why, in theory, the military will say we can't reveal our methods. This has to be top secret classified.
So
like,
I'm not asking
the videos.
I'm not asking to release the methods. Okay, I know some of the methods they use to gather this intelligence. I can't talk about it because it's classified. But at the end of the day,
we won't tell anyone.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen.
I won't keep the vault up.
I need view hours, motherfucker. Shut up. But no, the thing is, if you don't want to release that information, okay, and there's a lot of legitimate reasons why you wouldn't want to release that information. Why not wait until it got closer to U.S. territorial waters so you could justify to the international community? So here's one of the concerns. Here's one of the concerns, and it's a legitimate concern. We have used coalitions to attack near-peer countries. Now, they turn out they weren't actually near-peer, but under initial scrutiny, Iraq was considered a near-peer adversary because of the sheer numbers of their reported armies. They had one of the largest armies in the world when we invaded Iraq. So we developed a coalition of countries to perform the invasion, to overwhelm, because we thought the U.S. military couldn't do it alone. Now, in hindsight, we know that was all bullshit. Now, riddle me this. Our closest ally has started to deny sharing of intelligence with us in the region because they feel that we are picking on a lesser adversary. We are being tyrannical on the international stage. Other countries see that, and they garner sympathy in Venezuela. Eventually, enough of them come up and they form a coalition to help prevent the big bad bully from beating up on the poor little beaner.
Yeah, but we still have a justification there. They sent 1 million people here.
Well, but
they flooded our country with their criminals.
But they don't agree. But they don't think
also,
that's justification.
The country's fucked. They're not going to be our greatest ally in like 10 years anyway.
Well, look, I'm just saying, this is a possibility.
I do think it's odd that not even Pete Hegseth has at very least said, we know 100% that these drugs that we're blowing out of the water, absolutely 100% were coming to our shores. I'm looking,
and they won't say that because they can't say that.
Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, Trump himself, they're all dancing around it.
We believe
responsible for this coming into our, and we've indicted them in the Southern District of New York for cocaine trafficking and all this other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying I do think it's odd that nobody has like stuck their pen in it and been like, no, I can at least tell you this much that we do know.
And Trump can declassify anything he wants to. There is absolutely nothing that can stop him.
Well, that's true, but you can't just delete the reason you classify something.
No, but he can.
By it, though.
But he can go 100%, and he can go and tell the American people, this is why we're doing this. Here's the proof. And that way, he's showing the international community that at least he's doing it for a legitimate reason.
But who's the international community? Are these the same people that are always being polled as like hating Trump, America with the tariffs?
No,
blah, blah,
I'm
blah.
not looking at any
do we
polls.
Give a fuck about the international community? Who is
I'm
this?
not looking at any polls. I'm looking
Well, what's
at
the
it
international community? Just what is that?
I'm looking at this from a pragmatic viewpoint. Someone who's trained in LOAC.
No, I know. I'm just saying, who is the international community? What is that?
Any country in the world.
I don't give a fuck what other countries think. I just care about the reality.
The U.S. against the world.
Let's just say,
let's say
if we go 10 years and then the government comes out and then they release all the evidence about these strikes and it all checks out and it's all good, does that still present an issue that they waited 10 years? Because what I'm saying is the reality and the facts and the truth of the matter right now matters more to me than me being compelled and convinced that this is all in the up and up. I am assuming that it's all in the up and up.
They don't have to wait 10 years. They can just say, we know. 100%.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. If they did wait 10 years,
but
then they put all this out.
But they won't even do that.
They won't even do the minimum and say we know this.
We don't know that.
Well,
they haven't said it.
For anything, dude. I'm looking for any kind of quote, and the only quotes that I can
find
but
it's not been 10
Marco
years.
Rubio, Pete Hegseth, but this has been going on for 3 months.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is like if in the future they do publish it and it's all good and on the up and up, then am I still wrong right now because I didn't have the information today?
Well, so I'm not saying this. I'm not saying thing is definitely happening. I am saying in the international community, if we look at how America is viewed around the world, and for the most part, I don't give a shit about what most of them think. And you know, Pentuple, I'm kind of an isolationist. You already know this. But I understand enough to realize that the international community can band together, form an alliance, and yes, they actually can, believe it or not. America is not the juggernaut, the unstoppable juggernaut you think it is. We were beat by
countries and they fucking panicked.
Yes.
That's like the lightest slap you could possibly do on that stage. If we fucking hammered them, they would collapse.
And an entire country of inbred goat fuckers beat us. We occupied them for 20 years.
On their land.
We occupied them for 20 years, and when we started to pull out, the whole country fell in hours.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about none of that.
I do.
No, I know you do.
You know what I'm saying? We started to pull out of Iraq and Iran took over immediately. Bro, we are not the conquerors that we pretend we are. We are not.
No, we're not the global police, but when we're
we are the global police and we're bad at it. Well, we're terrible at being the global police.
I mean, I guess it just depends on what angle we're taking that conversation, but I'm just saying, like, we are leagues ahead of any other country.
But I would say we ought not be the global police. I would say that we ought not project our power unless we have proof. Unless we have definitive proof of the legitimacy of what we're doing. That is literally
declare war.
Yeah.
We have all the reasons to. You've sent a million people over here, a shitload of criminals. You're not taking them back. We suspect you even of just suspicion of drug trafficking. Like, declare the war.
Yeah.
And if Congress won't do it, like, grow the nuts, Trump, and say you're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to see out of the whole thing. Like, and dude, we've been talking about this for 3 weeks, and I've been saying this shit's going on in Venezuela. They're actually doing shit down there. All of this Epstein bullshit, everything that's been happening for the last 3 weeks has all been a cover for this buildup that's happening down here. And here we are this week. Now everybody's like shitting their pants about it. Like,
look,
just
all
do
I
it.
know is
Like,
the 22nd
I'm fine with it.
MEU, the 22nd MEU has been waiting. They've been waiting now for a couple of months. And if you don't know, that's the Marine Corps Expeditionary Unit that has been sitting out in the Caribbean waiting to do an amphibious assault. The last time the Marine Corps did an amphibious assault was in 1991 when they did an amphibious assault in Kuwait. They want to actually do it. Fucking declare war then.
Do it. And then we won't have any of this bullshit when you can put this guy up and like try him for his crimes and all that shit.
But fucking declare war and do it right.
I mean, he's
everything you're
already said
describing
himself.
can't happen in the same instant. I mean, like, I don't know that this isn't what's going to happen. That would be cool.
Well,
I have no idea.
He said himself that the Biden administration asked them specifically to send Nicaragua over. So I'm like, is this what we're building to? Is some sort of like legit evidence that this was like a planned invasion? And all of this is theatrics in the meantime.
I think the drug hitting the drug boats is a farce. I firmly do. I think it is a smokescreen. It is Iraq 2.0. And it's going to lead to us. It's going to lead to us occupying another sovereign land under false pretenses.
Well, devil's advocate, I did hear a lot of the same stuff about Iran.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just like if you ask me what I'm doing with the drug boat, I'm blowing it up personally.
I mean, cool. But
like you guys, what has compelled you, Jason, to be so certain that the government doesn't have this information on these boats? Like, what has compelled you? Because like, if you showed me that, I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fucked up. How do we know that that's not an actual? How do we know that's an actual drug boat trafficking drugs to the U.S. or whatever?
So,
but just because we don't have the compelling, convincing evidence doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. You need to compel me and convince me that it's definitely not proven or shown, or like there is. Where is there definitely reasonable doubt that even our military couldn't possibly know?
Yeah, but where else do you just openly believe the government like this? They ran around and tried to shoot you up with experimental drugs, and you were like, hell to the fuck no. So why do you just take it at face value now? Is it because Pete Hegseth and Trump are in charge? You think isn't any like?
I mean, I have faith in that leadership. That is a relevant factor. But also, I just haven't seen anything compelling to suggest that anything is. I haven't even heard of like people involved in this trying to whistleblow or anything like that.
Well,
like there are things that happen in the military that you and I would probably all agree should be top secret classified that you can't just release to the public, right? So it's like I'm holding that same where it's like I don't know that there's not a reasonable purpose that they aren't just putting out everything to convince us. I care about the reality. That's why I've acknowledged if you could actually prove to me that this is not on the up and up, I'd have an issue with it. But until then, all I can do is have faith.
Well,
when it comes to COVID and stuff, there were facially contradicting things. If we had evidence that we knew one of these boats wasn't a drug boat, that would be the type of thing that would compel me into your position. That would be the equivalent for the Fauci COVID stuff, where it's like,
when did I say they weren't drug boats?
Making a leap.
No, I'm not making the leap. I'm refusing to take a leap.
Well,
on behalf of whatever you guys are compelled by.
See, I'm using reasonable doubt. I'm saying those are drug boats. I don't question that in the least bit. I question the destination of said drugs. That's the only thing.
Why? Because
proximity is actually a good indicator of where it's going.
Right, but it's not the only indicator, and there is a way we could tell.
It is a very strong indicator.
It's one indicator. It's a given. Of course, if they are on the way towards the shore and we can see them, then that is alone evidence. But we could also have evidence where it's communications or intel from the people involved that say, yeah, this boat is headed to the U.S. And that could also provide and maybe it wouldn't even be as compelling evidence because that could be a head fake or something because they're drug trafficking.
They could say that at any time.
But they haven't. They haven't even feigned toward that. So
Right, but this is why I say what we're really debating is whether we should know, because, like I said, if in 10
No.
years this
No,
comes out and
nobody
we
is
can be
saying
proven
about
it's all in the
knowing.
up and up.
All I'm saying, it's weird that like 0 people from the administration have confirmed what you are saying, that these drugs were coming to the U.S.
yes, no
Nobody
one
has
from the
said that.
administration is standing anywhere near what you're saying.
I mean,
They're
I'll
not
take
saying
your
it.
word for them.
Look, so I'll ask you. I'll ask you this. You believe you've already admitted you believe in national sovereignty. So I believe what we're doing is violating said sovereignty. Cool. Okay, you're okay with that. Let's say you're not principled on the sovereignty deal. You say that you have faith in the administration to be doing the right thing. I harken back to Trump 1 and COVID, when Trump was saying everyone needs to take the vaccine. Operation Warp Speed was amazing.
Absence knowledge or evidence.
Pattern
Like I
recognition,
said, this
motherfucker.
is in part because I don't have like the military experience involved to make any claims here.
So pattern
I don't
recognition.
know about it.
Yeah, pattern recognition. It does look a lot like other foreign conflicts.
It looks a lot like Iraq.
Or oil.
Well, it's a foreign conflict.
Well,
What's it supposed to look like? A domestic conflict?
Specifically for oil.
It looks a whole hell of a lot like Iraq.
Well, that's all compelling and interesting to me. I'm just saying, do you guys think it's impossible that they could retroactively put out evidence that proved this was all in the up and up?
I'm just looking for Pete Hegseth.
Because if they did that, then what do you think of my position if that happens?
I'm just looking for.
The only reason I don't believe this is because nobody has said, like, it's weird how they're dodging it.
And in an administration that will
it doesn't matter
ultimately
ultimately whether we believe it is. What my point is, kind of.
But the administration
Marco Rubio tomorrow says, yes, this is 100% it. It was coming here. I'm like, cool. Thanks
yeah, I would feel better about that if the administration would just say, anyone from the administration came out and said, we are doing this. We have the proof that yes, these were destined for American soil. I have no issue with that, but they won't do it. In an administration that says more definitive shit than any other that I remember in history throughout my entire life, the man who brags about everything, it's the greatest ever. Trust me, everyone's saying it. He's not saying it.
Well, they are posting it. I mean, they're happily.
No. They are showing videos that are months old, and they're pounding their chest, but they are not saying we knew these drugs were bound for America. What they say is we knew these boats were carrying drugs.
Yeah.
They don't say where the destination was. We just killed drug smugglers.
But even if they're not coming to the U.S., it's not like necessarily defeating to me either.
If you're going to use the U.S. military, it has to be in defense of the country, my man.
I don't disagree with that.
But you do.
But this is if this is a, for the lack of a better term, just a company or some organization that's trafficking drugs all over the region, and they come to the U.S. in 20% of their stops, I don't particularly care to wait for them to come to the U.S. to do it. We can take them out whenever if that's the case. If we know that they are trafficking drugs to the USA, and that's what this organization does, I'm happy with sinking their boat, even if on that particular mission they were going to some other country. That's just what I'm saying. That's not defeating. What would be defeating is if like these were legitimately just citizen boats, no drugs were on them. We just were like, we assumed. That's where I'm like, I have faith that our military wouldn't be doing that. And if you showed me evidence, I would be very compelled by that. Not take issue with it.
The military is going to do what the fuck they're told, because that's what they're conditioned, and that's what their job is. The only people that will question it will be the admirals or the generals, which, by the way, we have a good bit of evidence that there's a lot of dissension in the ranks, where we've seen a lot of flag officers immediately retiring from a 3+ year position because they disagree with the tactics being used. That tends to be kind of an indicator, if you will. When generals who just show up, or admirals just show up and go, nope, I'm retiring, nope, done. and they don't give you a reason, there's a reason why they don't give you that reason, okay? Because when they retire, they're never fully out of the military. And if they were to voice their dissension publicly, that could affect their retirement, that could affect their status, all kinds of things. They're doing what is legally right. I don't agree with this. I'm out. And they walk away with honors. Okay? You've got to pay attention. There's nuances to this stuff.
No, I get that.
There's, when Adam of all people is like, bro, I'm not comfortable with this. This is the same guy that'll literally go, we got to kill all the Uden. Okay. He'll openly say that, and have police come visit him. And he goes, yeah, I feel a little antsy in the pantsy about this. That should raise flags. On one end, kill an entire race versus, I don't know about this one, bro. Okay. When someone who is that extreme is a little sussy wussy, maybe you should listen to the butterflies.
That is compelling.
I am not compelled yet.
You're not compelled because you're still part of the. You're still part of the.
I'm gonna smile every time I see another boat get blown up. I'm gonna smile when I see it. I'm gonna be happy and I'm gonna go about my day. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be. I'm not. There's. It's hard. It's hard for me to imagine that you're gonna present to me anything compelling enough for me to look at those videos and go anything other than, hell yeah, those boats.
I get that.
See, the boomer theory is becoming more plausible here.
What's the boomer theory?
Yeah, Ryan followed right into it.
Scuba said that he thinks that the boat strikes are about entertaining the boomers, showing them the clips on Fox News. It kind of scratches their George W. Bush 9/11. We're doing something. Our kids died of fentanyl overdoses. Hell yeah, vote the midterms.
Yeah.
That's what Scuba thinks this is.
Well, I think if it was a midterm strategy, they wouldn't have been doing it right now.
Well, maybe they're not going to stop, is the point.
Well,
they've already done this 21 times.
I just look at it as
21.
If it was about a midterm victory, I would argue that they damn sure wouldn't do it in the middle of the holiday season. Okay. I think if we're actually going to invade, we're going to do it around Christmas and New Year's because no one's paying attention to the fucking news. Everyone's, drinking and partying and, spending time with family.
Well, it's kind of how this whole thing's been too. There's been a lot of really weird news story distractions, all sorts of stuff recently. And I've said this has all been a cover for Venezuela. So I do think that it's plausible that the holiday season could see. I mean, there's 15,000 down there.
Yeah.
Waiting.
And look, an MEU is not a small group. And Venezuela does not have the military or the paramilitary with their military to deny a U.S. Marine Corps MEU. They don't. And the Marines really want to do an invasion. I mean, you're not going to blue ball them this long. I mean, rapes have exponentially gone up in Puerto Rico because the U.S. Marine Corps is there. I mean, they got to get their jollies one way or the other.
Is the airspace still closed over Puerto Rico?
Airspace is never closed over Puerto Rico.
It was a couple of weeks ago. Everybody was moving in.
Yeah, but that was only because of logistical. And they don't have the they didn't have the air traffic control capacity to be able to manage that much traffic. Now that they have military controllers there that's used to actually handling that volume, yeah, no problem. Puerto Rico's open for business.
It'll be interesting couple weeks ahead for sure.
Yeah, I feel weird about this. I don't feel good about it. And I know Pentuple is like, yeah, I'm getting my murder wood on, watching these brown people in the boats blow up. And I mean, yeah, I kind of get that. I like seeing things go boom too. But at the end of the day, they prosecuted Trump's lawyers What's going to stop them from prosecuting that pilot who fired that missile?
That's true.
You know, they went after his lawyers.
Yeah. Alina Baba had to step down.
They're like, oh, well, you were just doing your constitutionally protected career, offering a defense for a client. But yeah, we're going to take away your law license and we're going to arrest you and prosecute you under RICO statutes because fuck you. That's why you defended Orange Man.
Yep.
Haven't you heard he's bad?
Yep.
What is a lowly military officer? What protection do they get? You know? I just, it's too much. It's too much. No one comes out clean.
No. I agree with that. And I again, I have war fatigue. I don't mind like tactical military strikes to get jobs done, but I do have war fatigue. A lot of my friends went, a lot of them came back fucked up.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see another 30-year conflict. I don't want to live through another one. I don't want to live through an economy that's literally just based on the war machine either. That's how I ended up in the service industry. That's how I ended up being one of these people that made their money in the service industry, cash to cash to cash, day to day,
Mhm.
So
I've got fatigue. Jesus,
I do. Yeah. I want like I know you say like maybe we don't want people here manufacturing in factories and like I don't know, like if I had the opportunity to make Tupperware bowls for 35 years, get a watch and a retirement and a pension, that sounds a lot better than what I'm still doing and hustling every single day.
Yeah, your hand to freaking mouth, just looking for gigs to, hey, let me blow shit up over your thing. Let people ooh and ah. I mean, I think you've got a really cool job, but I'm not going to make any bones about the struggles it is for you to maintain that job.
Right.
Hey,
I asked this to all my friends who are bartenders, entertainers, all that kind of stuff, working in these tourist areas. Like, would you have taken the 35-year job in the factory, gotten the watch and the pension? It's like 90% yes.
Yeah.
And
Because
I didn't have that option. I watched all of my friends' dads lose those jobs instead.
Yeah.
And I watched those jobs get sent over to foreign countries instead.
And the Riddle guy, I was talking to him and I'm like, yeah, we need to increase our industrial base. And he's like, well, by how much? I'm like, 15 to 20%. Oh, I thought you'd want more. Well, I'd love to see more, but 15 to 20% would probably be a good start. Mm-hmm. Because of things like China cutting off already paid contracts and stuff for, but oh no, China, the great China thinks that they have better needs. Well, fuck you. We paid for those.
I know you're an American maximalist like I am,
Mm-hmm.
so you would like to see Canada and Mexico. And I do think that is something in the next 100 years that could actually help this country as far as the industrial base goes, because a lot of those places did just go right south of our border and end up in Mexico.
Well, in the USMCA, okay, that was actually designed to bring industry back to the North American continent. Mm-hmm. I'm not scared of the U.S. going to war with Venezuela. I just don't see the justification when I can actually 100% justify going to war with Mexico, overthrowing President Sheinbaum.
I agree.
Because she is controlled by the cartels. 37 freaking assassinations kind of put that out there.
Well, and in the entire country, it was over 200 politicians.
Yeah.
So you've already proven that the government of Mexico can't manage their country. They can't protect their people. And they have a terrorist organization that's rooted into their own system now. So
they are also complicit with the invasion of America via its southern border. We have security agreements. We have treaties that says Mexico has to help defend our borders. Now, part of that is the Biden administration not doing their job. The Trump administration trying to do it. the Obama administration not doing their job, the Bush administration, the Clinton administration. We can go back all the way throughout history, and you will find American executive administrations ignoring our border, with the exception of Trump and Eisenhower. And we can't say the operation that Eisenhower launched, the most base name in border security operations,
Right.
by the way. Moist anterior,
Right.
would be a good synonym. But I find it ridiculous that people are cheering on this Venezuela deal when our actual threat is literally less than a mile away from our country.
Right.
The Sinaloa cartel. There's what, five major cartels in Mexico. And we asked President Sheinbaum, hey, can we attack these people? And she went, no.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, 130,000 Americans dead from fentanyl overdoses. And the majority of those overdoses can be traced back to our southern border. Why aren't we declaring war on Mexico? Why are we worried about Venezuela? I say declare war against both. Fuck it.
I mean,
We can get the oil. We can get the oil, and we can start my plan of make North America America for once. Let's go. Mexico will be the next new territory. Viva la new Mexico.
A lot less deportations we got to do if we do add Mexico as a state.
And a much less of a southern land border to actually worry about, because it'd be much shorter. And
at some point, why would we stop at Mexico and not go all the way down to Panama?
I would say go all the way to Panama, but
oh my God, isn't this what literally we're like not letting Russia do? Why can't Russia do this?
I think Russia can, but that's just.
I don't think Russia has the logistical means to do it.
Because we're going to stop them.
No, I don't think they have the logistical means to, unopposed. I don't think they could do it.
Oh,
dude, they can't supply their own people in Ukraine.
I mean, we're fighting them there. We're providing quite a bit of help.
No,
are we not?
No, we're actually not like we were.
Since the Trump administration or anyone else, Ukraine is not doing that on their own.
No, they're not doing it all on their own. I'm not.
They would not be able to.
But I am telling you, Russia cannot maintain what they have. They don't have the logistics to do it. Now add expansion, even further. For Christ's sakes, it's and I'm not saying Russia is a country you have to ignore. Far from it. They're a nuclear power.
They have the most nuclear warheads.
Yeah.
They have 5,580.
And they probably got some that aren't counted too, because they're not known for their ability to follow treaties.
Right.
But it's just kind of China has a better ability. Once China finishes building a navy that can actually deliver things over blue water, yeah. Once they deliver that, and that'll be in 15 years, China will overtake South America. I fully believe that, and we'll let them do it, just as long as their slaves keep making our shit.
They tried to overtake Africa, and they got Africaned right out of there. The Africans did win by their lack of logistics and planning and ability to execute.
Well,
got sick of that and moved to the south.
Yeah, the booty scratchers, they got scratching is all it was.
The Chinese were defeated in Africa.
Yeah, but look, what was it? They found an entire fleet of Chinese fishing vessels, violating Ecuadorian sovereign waters.
Right on the edge, and just casting those electric nets into the bottom of the ocean so all the fish die off, and it just comes to the surface, and they just grab them and leave. Yeah, they're fucking up our ecosystem.
Yes, Chinese are fucking diabolical. And I think we dropped the sun on the wrong Asians, but we can correct it.
There were a lot of other ones though. There, like the Chinese of 30 years ago is not the Chinese of today.
No, not at all. Not at all.
We did that too.
Yeah. Well, look, every monster that exists in the world, the U.S. has had a hand in making them. With the exception of maybe I don't know of any U.S. ties to Maduro.
Well, I mean, but he was hand selected by Hugo Chavez, and the Bush administration and Hugo Chavez were battling it out.
I mean, yeah, but we made Osama bin Laden, Manuel Noriega, Saddam Hussein. Those are all U.S. puppets.
Mm-hmm.
We all put them in power, and they became some of the most notorious men in the world,
and some of the most successful.
Yes, Muammar Gaddafi. I mean, yep. We helped prop him up in Libya, only for him to cut the strings off and the puppet, and then we had to put him back in his place. We killed his entire family tree, but left him alive.
We came, we saw, he died.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton.
And dying of a dagger enema, not a pleasant way.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah. But I did watch him repeat a couple times. Like someone tried stabbing you in the butthole with a dagger?
Yeah, Grid's food did. No, the food was so good, and I don't want to say that because that sounds fucked up. Because the food was great, and I'm going to eat it next time I go. It's just that the next morning I was literally pushing out a baby for 3 minutes.
Thank God I had to go take my dog to the vet real quick.
Oh man, that was brutal. But dude, I can't wait. He says he's gonna do it again in April. I really hope he does.
I'm actually I'm not opposed. I would probably go.
Dude, it would be so worth it. Even what he just did last time, even if he just did exactly that, I would go.
I would like to see him do it more than one evening. I would like to see an evening and a day.
Agreed. Well, he did it as like the intro to Debate Con. He needs to do it as his own like Grid Con or whatever.
Yes. I think tying himself to a failing platform. God, I hate modern day debates.
Man, we paid $20 for that debate, and we were both like, "Let's play Balatro." Like headliner closing debate of the whole conference, and we were like,
"Hey, I will say though, Sadie, we were watching the one with the like white nerdy scientist guy.
Yeah.
If we had watched the one with the Muslim, I think we would have gotten through it because that one was interesting, and I thought the Muslim made some pretty good points.
It was funny. You're talking about the cousin, the cousin loving one.
You're a cousin fucker now.
No, well, yeah, no, but yeah, that guy.
Say that?
You can say that.
Yeah.
Where are we?
We're on YouTube and
Kick, yeah. But no, I thought it was only interesting because Andrew was literally just roasting him the whole time. It wasn't a debate. It was Andrew mocking them because they practiced something that the church basically did away with centuries ago.
I think it was interesting because obviously I don't support cousin fucking.
Well,
I do think that when you get down to the arguments, especially a lot of the ones that Andrew typically makes about it's your preference that we don't do something, right? Is it like I know the church has said something about not inbreeding or marrying your first cousin or whatever, but it's like, is this really like religious doctrine?
Yes.
Or is this like as a response to what we've observed in the world and applying religious doctrine to optimizing the world?
Andrew employed a very interesting tactic, and this is a tactic a lot of people don't understand about the religion of Islam. If you speak out against the religion of Islam, you are labeled an apostate. A fatwa will be set against you, and you can be killed legally under Sharia. So, since it is written in the Shuri, which is it's kind of like a holy text. It's like additional rules that are not in the Quran.
It's like for the Talmud.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Talmud, but it's their version of it, and there it says it's completely fine to marry your cousin. You can't marry your sister, but you can marry your cousin. Okay. If he spoke out against that, if he denounced that practice, he would be speaking out against the religion of Islam and could legally be killed.
Yeah, no, he clearly supported it the whole time.
Yes. Because, and honestly, like, the dude is smart, like, legit. Like, I've seen him do some debates. He does some decent stuff. He could not denounce it. He could not say, yes, it is allowed under Islam.
Going to because he didn't. But like,
even if he didn't agree with it, he couldn't. So basically, Andrew used a cheat code on him because he couldn't.
Well, the cheat code only works because we find it so ridiculous and like we mock that like cousin fucking thing. Yeah, if this was some other principle, it would just be you're not denouncing this. But like, no, I'm defending the doctrine that permits it, and they engage. Like, he's been defending it even on Twitter. Like, the guy clearly supports and is fine with marrying your cousin, the Muslim guy. Like, obviously, so like getting him to denounce it isn't the argument. The argument's not about whether this Muslim guy personally supports it or not. He's defending the doctrine, and I thought he was making. I'm just saying, and I'd have to go back and we'd like watch it through again. But I was just saying. This is what I think of when I think of Andrew debating a great debater versus like what he does on the Whatever podcast. But I thought it was interesting because a lot of the prep that I saw him doing on the Whatever podcast, which it seems like was prepping for some of these debates, to be honest. But he talked a lot about like, it's your preference that we don't do that. Like, what's your ethical system? Like, does it come from like God, or is it something that we've adapted from our experience with the universe? And so that what I'm saying is like, it's our preference. Is it our preference that we don't inbreed because of the identifiable consequences of that? You put
so
out.
It is our preference, but there is actual doctrine brought down from the church that says no.
But that's from the church. Is that from Scripture?
No,
because the church is interacting with the real world. So the church can address, say, oh my gosh, like there's serious deformities and disabilities that come with inbreeding. This is so obviously bad. This is not what we should be doing. And the church can speak on that. Same way the Pope is doing a climate change event right now.
So,
but like, is it Scripture that's like marrying your cousin is inherently?
No, it does not say that. So what it specifically?
Well, so then it's our preference. It's the preference.
What it specifically addresses is sexual relations between close family members like siblings, parents, and children. That's what it actually lists. Okay. But cousins, no, it is there is nothing that goes that far. So it was the church that actually determined that to be a bad practice. And Andrew did not hide it as a scriptural thing. He openly came out and said, the church determined that this was a bad thing and made it part of the doctrine. Christianity abided, and we saw a rise of IQ across Christian nations by 15 or 20%. It was a sound argument. It was hilarious, but I mean, usually I'm surprised MDD didn't have at least 2 or 3 flat earth debates at their debate con, because that seems to be their favorite thing is religion, and they do flat earth all the time.
Do they really do flat earth?
Yes. Wow. Yes.
They love flat earth in a long time.
There is nothing to debate.
Did you guys see Andrew Wilson on Piers Morgan today?
Yeah.
I watched a little bit of it. He was defending Nick Fuentes for saying that he's a virgin and like kind of throwing it back at Pierce, which I really appreciated. And I was
that was actually good. That was actually really good.
I agree.
I'm not a fan of Nick Fuentes' policy prescriptions. Mm-hmm. I understand his. No, he doesn't. But I understand his viewpoint, where he's coming from. I don't agree with his interpretation of it. But, honestly, Pierce got mogged. Pierce got mogged by Nick Fuentes.
Because he was trying to cry bully boomer bullshit.
Yes.
And it doesn't work anymore.
And Nick Fuentes.
He's trying right now. Pierce is trying to build his brand against identity politics and stuff like that. But boy, did he slip right back into it when he was given the chance, didn't he?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he lives in a country where if you say the Holocaust didn't happen, you go to jail.
Right. Well, is that in the UK though? I don't think that's one of the 17 countries, but still.
Look, they'll put you in jail for a bad meme.
Yeah, theirs is more restrictive, I would argue, than just the Holocaust. They're arresting for giving people anxiety on the internet.
Right. But it's really funny because his inability to understand Zoomer mentality. Well, Mr. Fuentes, are you now saying that 6 million people did die in the Holocaust? Well, I think maybe it's 100 million. Teehee. Did he have to say ooh woo at the, did he have to go ooh woo at the end for Pierce to pick up on it finally or something? I mean,
no. He had no idea.
His dumb ass didn't pick up on it. He was like, no, in fact, I think more than 6 million. Yes.
I think your audience is going to be very surprised by this
this
answer.
Stalin thing is crazy.
Nick
said, I'm baffled at how Fuentes could admire Stalin. Haven't heard his explanation yet. From what I remember, his explanation was literally just that like he's one of the most compelling stories in human history, and it's just like really crazy what he did. He said he doesn't admire everything he did, and he thinks he's evil.
He said he made shit happen.
What explanation did you want? You wanted an explanation. It's like, is that the good one? That's a pretty good one. He could have said, I just think he's awesome and I love the way he did everything.
Hitler was small potatoes compared to Stalin, and that is 100% true.
It's hilarious.
60 million bodies on him.
Yeah. It's really so, and that was a troll too. Like seriously, I believe that was a troll.
Well, it's hyperbolic. That's what he does.
Yes.
It's like, this guy really got it done. He killed 60 million people. And the point is why are we talking like Hitler is the worst fucking figure in World War II? That's the ultimate question that he's answering. But that's how he does it. And that's how he is appealing. And it's because what I've always said and what I continue to remind Pentuple is funny really does always win.
Yes. And he's funny and he's poignant. He really is. He's really smart with how he does things. I don't like I know several groypers. Like one of them, he just stopped being a groyper. He's going to law school because he realized he was going nowhere with the shit he was putting out and things like that. And now he's going to law school. And good on him. I'm very happy for him. But he would talk to me about this stuff, and I'm like, bro. It's pretty well documented. I don't really care. Like when he would come to me and he's like, well, what about this in the Holocaust? I'm like, I don't care. I'm like, what happened was horrible and I hope it never happens again. But why are you focused on this? This is 75 years later. Why do you care? And I get the whole deal of, and it was Pierce Morgan's generation, the boomers, they had to swear fealty to never allow that shit to happen again. I get that. Just like I've been telling Pentuple, the reason why the Jews have so much power in America is they feel guilty because they turned away a bunch of Jews in World War II. It's fucking guilt. That's all it is.
Wait, what?
I've told you that before.
No, I know what you just said. The reason Jews are in power is because we have guilt. We were like, our bad here, just be a senator or something.
We give them disproportional power and influence because of that. Yes, I do believe that. That's why AIPAC, as you say, is so powerful when they account for less than 2%. Like trannies have more influence over American politics than.
Stop it.
My transmission is very strong, motherfucker.
No, when you say AIPAC's like 2%, last time we looked this up, it was like fucking a bunch of agricultural ones were bigger. This is like the biggest one that's on like some foreign policy or like involving people. This is like the AIPAC is huge. Don't do this percentage to me. I hate this. Oh, it's only the 0.0001% of the budget. How could it possibly be meaningful at all?
2% of total lobbying. You have more lobbying for agriculture.
Doesn't matter. It's one of the biggest.
Dude, the tobacco lobby is bigger. Tobacco.
That's what I'm saying. The agricultural lobbies and product lobby. This is the largest one that involves people in foreign policy.
Yes.
So the
it's ran by
because oil's bigger,
and it's ran by Americans.
Oh, dude, I think corn is bigger than APAC.
Corn is huge. Corn is
So why
we gotta stop? We gotta stop big corn.
You're worried about APAC? Why aren't you worried about corn? Why aren't you worried?
You should be worried about corn. It's got the juice.
No,
have you heard the song?
Corn is. I love corn, by the way. Not the band, the food. I was talking about the food, but no. I'm just saying, APAC is absolutely like a questionable like lobby to look at and be like, what's going on with that?
As well as
that's
like
so different than like all the other
like,
percentages.
Muslim one too. There's like an American Muslim one too that I would
is
say
it CARE?
See,
Council on American Islamic Relations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's tiny. That one's not even close to.
But fuck them
APAC.
too. Is my point.
I think some states have already banned them.
I don't
know
like,
if I just saw that
dude. If there was some kind of like advancement of the People's Republic for these Chinese dual citizens that are renting American women to have these like surrogate Chinese babies and give them dual citizenship, we would be like, what the fuck? Well, they're members of the CCP too, so you know, I mean, if it's anybody else, it is a problem.
So you're telling me you never heard this? You're about to be amazed. We got to stop this, by the way.
This is copyrighted?
For me, I really
like
I've
heard this.
What do you like about corn?
It's cold. A good corn with knobs. It has the juice.
It's got the juice. Yeah, you don't need, dude. You gotta fight big corn. Okay.
That's
well,
funny.
I agree with that. I don't need.
It's a good meme. I don't know if Sadie remembers
products.
that one.
I do.
It's corn.
It's got the juice.
Yeah, no, like I
no,
just
see, I get
like,
your point on APAC. I just find it uncompelling. Much like you're
how is that not compelling? It's the largest foreign policy
lobby. I just
lobby.
don't care. It doesn't have enough power.
Why is the largest foreign policy lobby with a state the size of New Jersey in the middle of the world?
Because it's not ran by a state. It's ran by Americans.
Well, it is.
Yes, it is. It factually is. Yes. APAC is American ran, yes.
Yeah, presumably it is, but
no, it's not presumably, motherfucker. It is.
Yeah, but how many of those people are dual citizens, bro?
And they're all Jewish.
And I've come out.
They're
all Jewish, therefore.
They are all Jewish, therefore they have the Jewish.
Dude, we gotta stop Big Nog. Okay,
all Jews. Hey, I'm about to say something crazy. All Jews.
I'm on YouTube.
Are Jewish.
Yes, they are.
Isn't that insane?
We must stop Big Nog.
All right, all Jewish people have a loyalty to Israel.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't think that's true.
No, that's not true.
They're Jewish.
The Orthodox Jews.
No, Messianic Jews might not, but how many Jews? I knew a lot of Jews. They all had to travel over there at some point. All of them. All of the ones who actually practiced had to go over there physically.
Well, yeah, they got to go to the wall, man.
Yeah. Whatever they do over there. But they all have to go at some point. In fact, it's like paid for.
American citizens went over there to do that mandatory service and got their dual citizenship from that.
No, I'm talking about like American Jews.
They're serving in a different military. They're serving in another country's military, dude.
No, there's American Jews that go there and
I almost joined
from Israel or from wherever. I don't. Maybe it's APAC.
The Australian
their trips paid for to go to Israel physically as part of their like practicing of their religion.
Right. And some of those people end up serving in the IDF and doing the.
Oh, I bet, yeah. That wouldn't surprise me.
And
they
serve in another military. In exchange, they get dual citizenship, and I feel like that's very antithesis to like the.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy. All I know is all I know is the Australian Air Force offered me like $100,000 bonus to join them. I almost did it.
Would you have denounced
the Australian Air Force
citizenship to fight for a different country?
I wouldn't have had to.
I don't know though, dude. Like
I wouldn't have had to.
That's
I actually looked into it.
Area.
Since I already did my time as a U.S. service member, and I was beyond any contractual obligations whatsoever, even the what they call the irregular reserve, the IRR. It's basically your first 8 years you're in the military. You can sign up for 2 years, you're in for 8. Because the IRR, the inactive ready reserve, they can call you back to military service. But yeah, no. Jesus.
Yeah. God damn it.
What?
Go ahead. What are you guys?
I don't see problems with Americans serving in foreign militaries. We got a lot of people who serve in the
swear
French.
an oath of service and stuff though. That like
Yeah. What the what is that military?
how does
While you're in
that-
that branch, yes. While you're in that, while
You couldn't join. You couldn't be like, oh, I was hired by this foreign military, and that's why I'm attacking the U.S. Right? That would
well,
be
I mean, if you attack, if they attack
violation
the
of
U.S., that would be yes, that would violate your citizenship and everything
Yeah.
else. But it's Australia.
But what if the president's like, hey, Australia, don't attack this other country, and then you're working for Australia, and Australia's like, go attack that country.
Does the U.S. president represent Australia? Do they control Australia? I'm just asking questions, man.
No, but
No,
does
but, like,
Australia control you,
don't.
or does the U.S. like
The
interest
U.S.
control
does
you?
not control you.
So I'm just saying, where's your loyalty when it comes down to military operations? It's
Well,
like,
when
whatever.
I was in the military, look, all my loyalty is always to America, but I did consider go working for the Australians because they were
Right,
going to
but,
pay me a
like-
lot of money.
I guess.
I mean,
the point
While
is, like,
I was
you
in, I
wouldn't-
would have to serve the Australian military. Yes. We have.
Fair enough.
Do you know how many Americans we have in the French Foreign Legion?
I don't know.
Jesus.
Well, so there you go. Candace Owens is right.
What?
That's what you just said. That's what I just heard.
I don't know what Candace Owens says. I don't actually listen
The
to
French
her.
Foreign Legion is coming after her. Now you're telling me there's a shitload of Americans in it, so therefore they could be here coming after her.
I mean, they could. I mean, but look, until she's actually flopping on a floor bleeding, I'm not going to believe anything she says. She's so full of shit. Except
What
I
is
do
shit,
believe,
though?
but I do believe that Macron's wife is actually a man.
See, I tried watching her streams on that, and I'm like, I don't know where the evidence is here.
There is no evidence. I'm just going with the meme.
That she's a man.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
she does look like a man.
And he's French. That's enough evidence for me.
Dude, honestly,
All French are gay.
I watch Candace and just kind of believe everything she says. I don't have any reason to doubt what she's saying. I have faith in Candace. I think that everything she says, like, you haven't given me a compelling reason to say she's definitely wrong. You have to show me for sure, like, that Erica didn't kill Joe. Oh my god!
Don't say that.
All right, gotta
Oh my
stop.
Bro.
I gotta
That's
stop.
So-
funny though.
It's crazy.
You gotta watch today because I was like, "Girl, what are you doing?"
I
I'm
Look,
telling
I
you,
didn't
Penn,
like
I know
her.
You're not gonna watch Jason, but I'm telling Penn,
No.
you gotta watch today.
I've never liked her as a creator. And I remember
Boo.
I remember when she
Boo.
made
I
her
always
little,
hated her. Shut
Social
up.
autopsy.
She's
yeah.
based.
I
She was
remember
based for a
yeah.
long time.
She did get her ass beat by Blair White on the Rubin Report over that too. She
Yeah.
went underground for like 2 or 3 years because she got her ass beat so hard by Blair White on the Rubin Report. You didn't hear from her, and then suddenly she was like TPUSA Daily Wire and stuff again. But there was a good amount of time where like she didn't even really show her face after that one.
She got manhandled,
She
which was
political-
hilarious.
Yeah, she definitely lost her cool too. Like it was not a good look.
But
I
I
remember that
mean,
very clearly.
yeah, the doxing server, yeah.
Yep.
Red Pill
Social
Black, yeah.
autopsy.
Yeah, see, I think honestly, she's just a jilted. She thought that she was going to be with Charlie.
She addressed that today on her show, and so
Oh, did she?
Crazy.
Yeah, she said that that she had a boyfriend the entire time that she knew Charlie, that they had a relationship like brother and sister. He was not her type, she was not his type. That's not what this is about. I was actually surprised she addressed it today.
The fact that she addresses anything, I'm usually surprised
I
at.
was joking with Sadie. What if they were like having a super late talk one night and they were like, "We're perfect for each other," and then Charlie at the end just goes, "Yeah, but you're black," and it's just all has been fallout since then.
No.
Like, you are perfect. We agree on everything. We have the
Hey,
same
I do
principles.
think that George
but you're
Farmer's a weird character. George Farmer's definitely a weird character with his millions of dollars and Parlor and all that kind of stuff. And didn't Parlor get like hacked by feds or something like that, and everybody's information got stolen?
Oh,
Yeah.
So
great.
there is some weird shit around George Farmer for sure.
Yeah, I don't know
Their-
enough about that. So all I know
their
is
husband.
Candace Owens has always been a little batshit crazy. I'm surprised she lasts as long as she did with the Daily Wire. I'm just saying.
Dude, it's crazy to think she was ever with the Daily Wire.
I know, and it was only like a year ago, dude. 2 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, the best thing that came out of the Daily Wire is that Brett Cooper girl. I like
Dude,
her.
I love her.
Brett Cooper's been defending Nick Fuentes too. He's been making
Yeah.
all sorts. There's been all sorts of "I love you, Brett Cooper" edits in there.
Look, they're going to normalize him. You know,
who's they? Because he has been around for
You know
since
who
he was
they is.
16. Yeah, I
you
know
know
that.
who
but
they is.
it's gonna be
We're going
people-
tiny hats completely.
But it's
They're
gonna
going
be
to
people like me that normalize it because that is me. The things that he says is me. The things that I do think that his biggest downfall is blackpilling. You can actually see the views drop. I don't even believe that it's botted, to be completely honest with you. As I'm watching the shows, my husband and I watch at night because he comes on really late, so we turn it on like we fall asleep to it. And there will be times where he starts in with this, you know, not only it's the Jews, but there's nothing we can do. We're totally fucked. Everything's a psyop. Everything's fake and gay. There's no hope for us. We're incels forever. All of that shit is when those views start dropping like a brick. That's why I do think he's authentic, because he hasn't figured out how to like prevent that from happening.
Yeah.
That is going to be his biggest downfall. He's
got
to
to
maintain if he doesn't start being solution focused.
He's got to grow up, is what it is. Everything is fake and gay. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, but that's not why you're watching, right? Is that why you're watching?
So Kieran,
everything is fake and gay.
So Kieran is my old. He's my old co-host, and no, he actually has said this multiple times.
I agree. Everything is fake and gay. I don't think Nick Fuentes is fake and gay. I think he is
I think he's gay. I don't think he's fake.
Yes, I do think he might be gay too. But I do think he's a disillusioned young white American that really did persevere thanks to things like fucking 4chan. And then X, as soon as it became popularized and mainstream to post like you're on 4chan on X. That's what's led to this breakthrough.
Yeah. Well, damn, it's been over 2 hours. Well, Sadie and Penn, thanks for coming on. Let's call tonight. Hey, Sadie, you do an X thing? Yeah.
On the weekdays, 3:35 Eastern until about 4:30 every weekday.
What's your at there?
Sadie Girl 216.
Yeah, go follow her there. She has a lot of base takes and some crazy takes. I'm not going to say she's perfect. That is completely left up to Pentuple, who works directly for her. Pentuple, where can you be found?
YouTube and Kick, Pentuple TV, and on X. But I just argue on X, so it's probably not the most entertaining place to follow me. Nick Fuentes is not gay. He is not in the video with Destiny. This is slander. And
no, but he's in the video with Catboy Cammy, and I was like, what is this? When it was actually happening in real time. He was definitely going on like a date with him, and it was weird.
Bro is gay, and also he did a coom inspection, dude.
We should look into the Catboy Cammy stream. You're gonna be like, I don't know.
Yeah, bro is gay.
Well, he hung out with a guy who was really gay.
Dude,
and the other guy was flirting with him probably and being gay.
The coom expedition. Sadie, you remember that when he went around with a black light?
No, I don't.
Yeah, there was a guy that was like living with him,
What's
and
the
he
black
accused him
light
of being a
incident?
coomer, and so he went around where the dude slept and everything, and checked it with a black light to see if he could find traces of semen. Found it all over the place and kicked him out. Yeah,
What? I need to go look at this lore. We have to look at this lore. Time to
We
deep
can
dive
look
on
at this.
and see, even Kira knows about the incident with the black light. Yes, exactly. So y'all need to get up on your Groiper lore.
Yeah, we do.
He look. I'm not saying he had a Catboy ranch, but he did have a Catboy roommate. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, thank you for coming through. I'm Jason of Vox Populi 1778, the only show where we allow actually the fucking chat to call in and give your opinions. Maybe next time y'all do that. Y'all take care. God bless.